starting the live very soon. Stand by in the green room. Welcome everyone to Kiwiradio.nz, where we champion local Kiwi musicians 24/7 on our radio station, but we also go live with our wonderful friends on air. It's been a big day today. We recently just had Ash Sales perform a live 1-hour looping set. He is going to be performing at Dimensions Festival, which is dimensions.nz, from 31st of January to 3rd of February 2025 in Northland. You can get your tickets and watch him perform his psychedelic looping sensationalism. Speaking of good friends, we also have another friend of the podcast, talented singer-songwriter Sebastian Holland Dudding, also known as Clovis. You can check him out on Instagram.com/call_me_Clovis. And I've got a very cool announcement for everybody. Very exciting that we have a brand new sponsor to the show. Are you ready for me to announce who it is? They are a cool New Zealand Kiwi startup called Musician App. It's a brand new app created by Greville, and you can book your gigs and stuff like that through the app, and we'll be starting our month campaign with them as of today. Clovis, well, and by the way, before I say anything further, Musician Buddy, will be joining us at about 7:30 tonight. We'll make it 7:40. Clovis, how you doing?
Kia ora. Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. It's been a great day overall here at the radio station. Live performance. Yeah. You. And getting a sponsor, it's all happening, baby.
Yeah, I can absolutely imagine, man. It sounds like you guys have been killing it.
Yeah, man. Well, how have you been doing? It's been a while since I saw you live. Found out anything musically about you, but you've been recording some music under Clovis, CLOVIS. Tell our audience a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so Clovis in maybe 2021, I started out just like a solo project where I started, releasing my own music that was outside of the band that I was working with currently. And then, I released I released about 2 tracks, and then I started studying again. Just to get my degree finally. So in that time, I was just kind of building this idea of what I wanted to do. as a solo artist. And so, yeah, I've just been kind of like doing a bunch of gigs, meeting a bunch of really talented musicians that I now get to have the privilege of working with. And now I'm just starting to release some new music and kind of like, yeah, jumping off that plane.
Awesome. And we hope it's going to be a good ride for you in 2025. It's a three-song set from Clovis this fine evening, starting off with a song called Fallen. Now, the format of the show, if you haven't listened in before, is we are largely a storytelling podcast. We get to meet the musicians, and they get to tell us what the behind-the-scene meanings are per song, and that's been quite a good format. Now 140 episodes in, so you are episode 140. Hey. So, yeah, let's start off with Fallen. Tell us all you need to, speak your mind. What's the song about?
Yeah, so Fallen was a song that I was at the start of this last year, should I say, 2024. I was sitting on Murawai Beach and I started like this whole surfing journey. And I had my guitar on the beach and I just started writing a song. And in the space of like 15, 20 minutes, I suddenly had this whole idea and lyrics, which was kind of about breaking your life down and then restarting it again, with like the concept of like relationships and love and family, which is all involved in, the process of relearning, yeah, so Fallen just became this this kind of like, for myself personally, and almost like an anthem of like exactly how I was feeling in that moment. And yeah, that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it.
Cool. Well, sit back, relax, while we play you a bit of Clovis. You're tuning into Kiwi Radio.
Suddenly became midnight, but it takes me away from you while I hide in the dark, and nothing can change my view. I'm falling apart. On a day like this, now I could be walking, you could be talking to me, truly. Oh no. On me this time, I locked the memories in my mind. You could have given me a better sign than wasting my time. Oh, at least I'm wasted in water, and heaven sent me a gift, and maybe the perfect narcissist, but it takes me away from you while I hide in the dark. Nothing can change my view. I'm falling apart. Oh, on a day like this, now I could be
You're tuned in to Kiwiradio.nz. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Musician Buddy app. Musician Buddy is an app for New Zealand musicians, specifically, to live stream gigs to paying customers and hirers. Now, musicians can build a profile of themselves on the app, which includes a short video profile, selected occasions or genres that they play, and selected dates and times they are available. We will be talking to the startup founder who's based in Hawke's Bay. We'll be talking to him tonight as well, so stay tuned for that. For now, we have Clovis on the podcast. Now, here's a little backstory, Sebastian. Can I say the dirty secret of how we met?
Absolutely, you can.
Now, it is a dirty secret because it is a shameful kind of thing. No, I'm not say that. But Sebastian and I, auditioned for the TV show X Factor, and we met at boot camp. And I just remember you when I heard your voice, I was like, man, this guy's really, really good. And there's been a few musicians like that went through the show and then kind of didn't go anywhere because I feel like they weren't maybe good for TV, you know what I mean? Because it's like a dramatization. But their music was still really cool. And I'm glad I've kind of kept up with you since those early days because now we get to see the evolving Sebastian Holland Dudding in its full glory. And I've heard some of your early year demos and stuff, fast forward to now with that song in particular. Man, the production's on fire, baby.
Thanks, brother.
It's been quite the ride for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely been like a lot of like growth moments. I think every musician kind of experiences it where they suddenly like realize this is really what I want to do and this is all I can think about doing. But once you kind of get into the crux of it, there are some there's some cheat codes like X Factor and stuff like that. But as you said, it's that's a whole nother game. But suddenly when you start realizing that art and the stuff that you create is just so personal and you want to give it to everyone else, it starts becoming a bit more authentic for you, which I've been loving.
Actually, you reminded me of a really cool interview of the singer from the Smashing Pumpkins, fronted by Billy Corgan. And he said that advice for musicians, this was his advice: pick which camp you belong to. Do you belong to pop or alternative? And I thought that was kind of rings real truth, you know what I mean? Because pop is like a polished product, whereas alternative is an art form. You don't just listen to the music. Artists in the alternative realm tend to speak themselves, speak and be authentic and speak their truth, that kind of thing. So ever since listening to that, I was like, yeah, you know what? The ethos with Kiwi Radio is kind of the same as well, because not just today's sponsor, but I've had other corporate sponsors in the past where they're like, and I feel like it's not a good match. So do I become commercial and not serve those communities, or do I kind of pick those matches and be kind of authentic? And if I think it's cool, then I'll do it. You know what I mean? So I still get to create the gates that I want to open. I think I think because it's such a balance with with this industry, it's like you need a bit of both, right? Like I have a very good friend that really plays that game of corporate, and that's the goal, and the goal is to be pop, and I idolize that completely because there is a little bit that you have to kind of like sacrifice with like your art. Which is a fantastic thing, but exactly as you said, like the pop and alternative can sit in the same world, but there is like that exact difference of what you were explaining, which and going back to X Factor days, I didn't get to this far into filming, thank goodness, but they started doing like fast food sponsorships and things like that, and I didn't quite align myself with that. But it felt like, the contestants had to film a free advert for those sponsors, those global corporates. And I agree with you. It is kind of like selling your soul a little bit when you do go down the pop route, whereas alternative has a bit more freedom, and also I think longevity as well.
100. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with someone where we were talking about like how AI is like such a big thing now, and there's those crazy apps that can just like write a song and make a country hit. You know what I mean? But I think the one thing that's always has to be a part of music is the human touch, right? Like is that authentic lyrics and melody and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's hard to create by a computer.
Yeah, you're all about heart, right? And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Tell us about these recent recordings. Who helped you record them? Just guide us through that whole process.
Yeah. So usually how I work is once I have like an idea set, and sometimes it can just be like as like Fallen sitting on the beach and just having an acoustic guitar. Sometimes it's me sitting at my computer and just like building a whole band, and getting a sound, and then the melody and lyrics come. But after the song's at a place where I'm very happy with this, I usually come like I work with I work with a guy called Jono and AJ and Henry and Dean, Sarah. Like I have all these amazing artists and musicians that surround me and help me build these things to make them a bit more I guess authentic is the word. Like MIDI's fantastic and I love working with it, but there's nothing better than live drums for me. So then I go to them and I record, whether that's like whether right now I'm working with a producer called Tom Broom, who's fantastic, and it's been heaven, like having the utility and all the equipment there just ready to use. But sometimes you can't afford that as a musician without funding behind you, so you have to kind of like get one microphone and put it up to a kick drum and just record the kick drum. You know what I mean? And so once that's all done, I have another really good friend, Overtide, or also like my friend Anton, but he's an artist called Overtide, and he makes some amazing music, so definitely go check him out on Spotify. But he masters all my tracks, and so I just send it off to him, and it's kind of like a bounce-off relationship where like sometimes I'm like, hey man, I'll pay you for this, or sometimes he's like, hey, actually, I really need some help with these lyrics or melodies. Can you come round and I'll master your track if you help me write this one, So it's all about the relationships you build in the industry. And I feel like New Zealand's such a fantastic place because everyone's so giving. A lot of the musicians I meet are just super invested in what everyone else is doing because we all want to succeed. We all want to make it somehow in the industry. And it's all give and take,
I've learnt over the years in my own personal professional journey that even just a team of 4 people can achieve so much, right? So some of the best indie acts that I've discovered in New Zealand, like, is the husband and wife duo because, one person does the artwork and this person does that. So that's a team of 2. But imagine getting up to 4. That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
If you have a solid 4, the Beatles, per se.
Yeah.
And they all, put in their own way and, personnel may change, but if you've got that magic number and it's a good mix, oh man, things really start to skyrocket. And absolutely, I think New Zealanders have this great number 8 wire mentality. Think back a couple of years ago with lockdowns, right? A lot of people lost their jobs or continue to lose their jobs through automation, AI, and things like that. Kiwis don't give up, though. Kiwis start up businesses. They create things, right? And if you've got a good idea, right, you start off here and amplify it globally. And that's the same thing with music. We see it from musical acts, or I'm using a Serato DJ deck right now, that kind of thing. Those New Zealand companies, if it's a really great idea and it serves a purpose and need and gives value, it can easily amplify itself, right? And you no longer have those gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Very exciting. I for one am very invested in your journey because I think you're a pretty cool cat. Great personality, but also really good music as well. So I'm pretty invested in it. So yeah, I would love to plug the next song now. And I do have to remind myself, we do have a sponsor today, Musician Buddy, and we will be talking to the founder. We'll do your slot, I think, first. That way there's a bit more flow. Hopefully you don't mind Grenville sitting in the waiting room there, but I promise to
absolutely
not. Promise to give you your spotlight as well. But yeah, for now, we will just stick to the 3-song set with the wonderful Clovis. We're up to song 2 right now. So I've loaded up here. The next song is called Irrelevant. Do you want to give us a brief info on what this one's about, mate?
Yeah, Irrelevant was a really interesting song to write. I did have a couple of people help me finish it off because it came like a lot of songs do. It came off the back end of a breakup, where relationships are tricky and they're hard work, and sometimes people can not to name drop the song, but can feel irrelevant in that relationship and therefore sometimes in their own lives. And I'm not so like this relationship didn't make me feel relevant, but I feel like it definitely gave me a perspective of, like what was like self-worth and am I just a project in someone else's life? The kind of idea of, well, I guess it's just tricky. Relationships are tricky. So Irrelevant kind of came off the back end of that. I had written this, I think I had written the first verse, the chorus, and the second verse I really struggled with. And, there's a line in it about, being an elephant and a pacifist. And my friend was like, this would be a really great little pun that you could use. And I was like, that's brilliant. And it's a real fun song. And I used to play it quite a lot live with my old band, but it was always truly and from the heart a Clovis song. So I ended up releasing it as a Clovis track.
That's awesome. Well, let's check it out, and we'll do your social plugs and etc. After the song, and maybe where we can find you live if that's a thing for this year. But we'll get back to you straight after this track. You are currently listening to Kiwiradio.nz simulcast right now on upfm.co.nz, and we're also live on video, youtube.com/@KiwiRadio.nz. Check this out, people.
I don't miss you. I'm just sick and tired of rewriting my vows. I don't hate you. I just get drunk and I start running my mouth. Simple attraction, fiction, love. What are you waiting for? My last resort was you. I'm just sick of being irrelevant. I wanna live, not for the hell of it anymore. We're in a room and I am the elephant. We should talk, but I am a pacifist. Leave the door open on the way out. I could move on, but that means leaving what we never had. I don't blame you. I just wish you gave me something much more clearer than nothing at all. Simple attraction, fiction, love. What are you waiting for? My last resort was you. I'm just sick of pacifist Librador. Simple attraction, fiction, love. What are you waiting for? My last resort was you. And I could move on. I'm just sick of being irrelevant. I wanna live, not for the hell of it anymore. We're in the room and I am the elephant. We should talk, but I am the pacifist Librador. Open on the way out.
You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz. Fantastic vocals, Clovis. For me, a good song. You kind of fall in pop alternative because you've got that lovely polished voice, but you're like the alternative dude, right? So it's kind of a best of both worlds, really. Fantastic vocals, mate. Whew!
Thank
on
you.
fire,
Thank
on
you.
fire. Now you're working on some new releases as well. So we'll talk about that shortly. Including a brand new one that you're working on. But for now, I've loaded up a song called This Old Town. Get your storytelling boots on and tell us about it.
Yeah, This Old Town was it was a bit of a moment of I'm really loving, like, you know, Noah Kahan came from Khan. Sorry, I always get the name wrong. Noah Kahan recently was a big moment in my life, and Zach Bryan had his old album out before the drama, and I was just infatuated with country music, and I was just like, I really want to write a country track but like that as well, you know, without you know, taking away that authenticity. So almost very similarly to Fallen, I was driving around and I really wanted to, you know, it's 3 years of uni. Going back to uni as like a mature student felt really tricky, and you know, I almost felt like I lost what I wanted to do because it was just assignments, and I'm I'm not a very structured person, should I say? So I was like, I really just want to go out and travel and go surfing and play in random bars and meet a bunch of people. So This Old Town kind of came from the idea of, I just want to escape for a moment, and with all the music that I was listening to, like these country artists or folk artists, that felt like the most honest thing to bring forward. So it's a bit of a change of vibe, and I love it, and I really want to stick to trying to find how I can gel that vibe to kind of more the poppy alternative stuff I do. But you know, I loved the song and I really wanted it out. It's a very, I love playing that song live.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speaking of live, when you do make an announcement for that, where's the best place to kind of find you online?
Definitely the best way where I'm most active is my Instagram. So Instagram.com/call me with underscores in between. Also on TikTok. I mean, it's such a good. I feel like TikTok's such a great platform.
Is that back,
for
or was it banned for like a day?
It was banned for like a day.
Oh my goodness!
but just in America.
Isn't it like a third of America's economy, despite the spyware that they say it is? I don't know. What's your take on it, mate?
I find it great. I understand where the spyware stuff. I'm not sure if I can get on board with that. I haven't really looked into it. But from my use of TikTok, I find it a fantastic platform for creatives and artists to share their work, and because the algorithms work so nicely and they do kind of like fold out. You know, it's same as when Instagram came out. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to learn to use, and then it's a great tool. But if it is just like an entertainment platform, I can understand why some people might find it a bit like toxic or bad, because you know, there's a lot of that like brain rot stuff on it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I time my tech regardless of what platform I'm in. I'm kind of like the very productive person where, I'm running the show radio-wise, so I'll get business inquiries, talent inquiries, and things like that. But rather than being on all the time, I just, structure my day so that I have condensed times of, productivity. And I find it's better to do that than just be on there all the time, right? And then maybe get lost in the algorithm portal.
Yeah. I think that's a super important thing to do. But I think that's just a good rule for everything that you do, right? Like, obviously, it's easy to be glued to your phone and stuff like that. But like, I feel like you can obsess on anything in your life, and it's all about balance, right? Like, it's a great marketing tool. It's a great business tool. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
What about for entertainment?
What about your passions and keeping the balance for you? What are you doing outside of music?
Outside of music, I teach for work, which I adore. I teach music, so it's kind of implied in the same thing. But
nice.
I adore my students, and it always feels really nice giving back. Otherwise, like hobby-wise, I surfing. I try to get out as much as I can because you can't bring your phone on the water. You can't bring a guitar on the water. It's the one place I can actually just shut down.
Honestly, I live near the beach, and when I see people surfing or like windsurfing and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, man, I wish I had the hours to sink into that because that looks like so much fun. Although water-wise, I am definitely into canoeing or kayaking. And I've done that a few times recently, and it's good. The reason why I asked that is I listened to a corporate coach that was Jody. Jody, she's a corporate coach, and she did an hour session with us on air. And she was saying that regardless of your profession, always find an outlet so that you can be refreshed going back into it. So for some people, their profession could be corporate, and so their outlet is music. But I mean, if you're doing music as a job, which is what you do, you're a teacher, you're a artist in the music realm, then having that surfing as your outlet is really good too. So I just think it's really cool to remind everyone about that and, find some sort of release valve.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone needs a thing. I was talking to my sister about it the other day. It's like find a hobby that, like, outside of your work. Find a hobby that's like physical and that's creative, and that's also social. Like I'm a huge nerd, so I love like Dungeons and Dragons. I play Magic the Gathering with all my mates, and I'm hooked to that stuff. And then the surfing's the physical thing, and the creative stuff is tricky because obviously music is work, but also I adore it. So I like maybe like reading, love that. I think it's balance. Everything's balance.
Ooh, favorite book.
Favorite book. Stephen Fry's like Heroes Troy. I'm reading his Odysseus book right now. I love anything that's like mythology based.
Oh yeah,
especially like Greek mythology. So Heroes by Stephen Fry, top.
Mythology and Greek history, does that enter your lyric writing at all?
I don't think it does. I think more the if anything the feelings do. I remember the first time I read the story of like Orpheus descending, about his wife dying and him descending into hell to retrieve her back. That was definitely like probably the first time I ever read a book and I cried. I was like, wow, that's really intense and powerful. And so that was definitely like a big, like emotional, I guess muse in a way. Yeah. But I don't think I wrote a song about Orpheus. I think I just used the feeling that it gave me to apply into my life.
Well, a bulk of songs or art, it revolves around two things, love and loss. And mythology is a big part of that. There's either love or loss. What if you could condense it? Other than that, what are you currently writing about? Like, what's forefront in your mind, especially with the music that you're putting out this year?
Yeah, I made a project last year where I decided to write a song about each stage of grief. so everything that I've been writing lately and will be releasing soon is kind of around the idea of that, especially because like I had some like really close friends pass away and their parents pass away. You know, there's been health issues in my family, and you know, there's been a lot of like emotional turmoil around the idea of like grieving. So that's like a big aspect of my life, which is great to have like such a beautiful outlet to put that and give that to people and go like, hey, we're all experiencing the same anger and depression and frustration and acceptance of that grief. So that, yeah.
I think that last 5 minutes of the interview was the golden nugget I was looking for. Every time I do an interview, I like asking the right leading question. And for me, mythology is such a cool world to kind of deep dive. And I'm glad you've got that as part of your persona. And I'd love to chat to you about that more in the future, because
Absolutely.
the reason being is I love history. I'm a child of history, right? And it's one of my was one of my favorite subjects at school, actually. And because I think history, if we study that, it can predict patterns of the future. So
absolutely.
So, but yeah. Well, Sebastian, it's been a wonderful storytelling podcast with you, actually. What are we gonna? When are we gonna catch up next in 2025? What do you think?
Well, I do have a new song coming out on February the 14th called I Could Be Your Lover. You can pre-save it now as well on Spotify. Thanks, everyone. Please. But I would love to chat around then when it's released, and then we can...
Send me the song. We've got bookings right up to mid-April now, I have to say. So we're pretty jam-packed. But I do ask that when you do have a release, it's important for the station to champion those moments and celebrate those moments with you. So the best way to do that is just definitely email the tracks. I believe you've already sent it through, so that's good. But you can also, and this is for any other artists listening in, there's a voicemail function on our website on the right-hand side of the front page, Kiwiradio.nz. And I encourage anyone to send voicemails, whether it's intros to your song or a plug or a gig. And we've been receiving that because that will be added and automated into the playlist as well. So there's that too. So we will always be there in the background for you, but as a full-on special and feature like we're doing now, we'll be booking from April onwards. So just letting you know about that. But that's cool. So pre-save that, everyone, on Spotify. That's coming out in February. We'll be playing your last song, but was there anything else, Clovis, before I let you do your thing?
Honestly, I would just love to say thank you. Thank you for making such a honest and beautiful platform for artists to just express and show and market their work and their love and their passion. It's an honest and great thing that you're doing, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be interviewing the startup and entrepreneur and sponsor of the show, Musician Buddy. I'm going to be interviewing him next. But it's kind of a similar. The reason why I like startups is kind of a similar story to me with Kiwi Radio. My background is I have worked for a commercial entity before in media, and sort of learned the programming, the coding. I know HTML for websites, so I am kind of a coder in its own right. But I'm definitely not like Musician Buddy coder, right? So it'd be interesting to kind of pick his brains on that. But what I'm saying is, and this is for anyone listening, maybe you got redundant recently or you can't find work. I hear the job market's pretty bad at the moment with ghost jobs and just, competing with AI and whatever. Start your own thing and see where it goes, right? Build something and they will follow. And that's kind of been the backbone between Kiwi Radio now, because we started about 3 years ago now, and it's just been going strength to strength, right? And I feel like it's kind of like the ramp up. Like the first year is always hard, right? You stream and nobody listens. Now it's not just about doing the work, but it's being consistent and predictable as well. So we've been doing the Tuesday night 7 p.m. thing as well as ad hoc stuff, but the consistency is on the Tuesday night thing, right? And what I've noticed is it's just growing each time. You know, I was streaming to like 2 or 3 people. Now we're averaging 200 people. Not just that, but we've got the downloads and everything. So it's kind of like, I know where the goal is, because I know there's been other radio stations specific to Kiwi music. So there was Kiwi FM, which was government funded, and they had lots of funding. It was a corporate entity. That even with all that funding, they reached 10,000 viewers a week, right? So to be kind of like a startup and doing 200 and knowing that 10,000's the cap or the ceiling, realistically, I feel like this is going to be a good ride, and we need to share that ride with other people as well. And that's why I just love seeing musicians grow with us with the podcast, because I remember interviewing people when they first started out, and then they're starting to do all these gigs now, like 2 years later or something like that, right? And we've enjoyed that journey with them. So I hope that 2025 gives you some blessings. I think the music stands for itself. It's fantastic music, and I want to congratulate you on that, and let you know that you're pretty cool, dude.
All you, mate.
Well, thank you for the plug. And we'll try and do what we can. So just message me in February, even if it's not a full feature. If you want to jump on for 10 minutes or something like that, we'd love to do that too. We'll just make something work, okay?
Amazing. Sounds great. Hey, thank you so much for having me, man.
Well, we're going to play the song now from Clovis. You can go check him out. That's CLOVIS. We want to thank Sebastian for being on the show. You have a good night, mate.
Kia ora, you too.
I'm staying out west where the sunlight set. I'm gonna find where the water flows. I'm gonna find a bar, gonna get a drink, and play a few songs everybody knows. I'm not running, I'm just caught in a river. Met a girl who said she'd lay with me for a moment, keep me company. I woke up and she wasn't there. Oh well, I guess you can do that when you don't care. I'm not in love, but the idea sounds good to me. Get me a mile away, take me out of this old empty house, my friend. I'm not living with my ghost no more. Well, let me find paradise so I can finally rest my head at night, my friend. I'm leaving in the end this old town. Could just leave to somewhere like London. Oh, but I wanna be right where the sun is. I'm packed up and I'm ready to go. Well, it's a little too hard to leave home. At least I think it's where I ought to go. Take me out of this old empty house, my friend. I'm not living with my ghost no more. Well, let me find paradise so I can finally rest my head at night, my friend. I'm leaving in the end me a mile away, take me out of this old empty house, my friend. I'm not living with my ghost no more. Oh! Well, let me find paradise so I can finally rest my head at night, my friend. I'm leaving in the end. Well, this old town. Well, this old town. Well, this old town. Oh, I'm leaving anyway. I hope to God I'm leaving. Get me a mile away, take me out of this old empty house, my friend. I'm not living with my ghost no more.
Exciting times here at Kiwi
Let
Radio.
me find paradise so I can finally rest my head at night, my friend. I'm leaving in the end.
And it's all thanks to you, the wonderful Kiwi local community that we have, you fantastic creatives and artists. Now, have a listen to this next plug. If you are a creative, and myself included, sometimes you just need a little bit of a co-pilot, a little bit of a guidance as to what to do and things like that. And that could be including booking gigs. And we have a fantastic new app that is sponsoring the show called Musician Buddy. I have on the line the wonderful startup founder, Grenville Watson. Check it out. What's up?
Hey. Great to be here.
The genius behind Musician Buddy. How's it going, mate?
Thank you for that intro. Yeah, it's really good. I'll just turn my sound down because there's something going on there.
How's Hawke's Bay?
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried to start with because when I look at all your photos, I kind of have to do social proof and check if you're legit. And there are photos of you. There was like Mother Russia behind you, so I wasn't sure if you were. What's that all about, mate?
I'm a traveler. I love to travel.
Okay, fair enough.
Travel is a thing that sets you free sometimes.
Fair call. And you've definitely got a Kiwi accent, so you seem legit.
Yeah.
I checked out the app beforehand, and it sounds awesome. So tell us all about the journey behind Musician Buddy. What was the why?
Basically, the why. I was just noticing with Instagram and TikTok, probably more so on Instagram, a few years ago, how many musicians are on there, and there are a lot, that were putting up these little videos and little, like you're scrolling and you see all these little videos of these very talented musicians. And you go to their profile and it's like, yep, there's a whole stack of all this amazing work that they've done. And then there's the link to their Spotify, their streaming, their, all those different kinds of links and their album, which they've, put their life into. Or many albums, and hopefully you'll buy it, which you should. Like, I just want to say I was really impressed with Clovis before. That was amazing music. Like, I just heard him for the first time today, and I'm just going to go check him out.
That's what it's all about,
more.
baby. That excites me when we get listeners going, and I've had that before. Blues musicians, rock musicians, and then when you get that one person going, oh my goodness, this is actually legit good. That excites me.
Yeah. And that's the thing, supporting Kiwi music, like let's take it to the next level and really, really support them wherever they are in the country. It's so important.
I love that idea because some of my most best gig experiences for me as a musician creative as well were those intimate, almost private party-like gigs. I can think of So Far Sounds did a gig with us, and we walked into. They had their own mailing list of musicians and music enthusiasts, and we walked into a crowd, and we had about I want to say 60 people in our crowd. And it was somebody's home. It was beautiful. So the venue selection was fantastic. And they dressed up the room. So they had a backdrop with like greenery and leaves and just like beautiful things, right? Like a set. And then they had cushions and bean bags, and people just got together in a room and got to enjoy the music. So this is why I'm excited about this concept when I read it. Musician Buddy seems like a really great idea, but it's taking that connection to the next step, as you say, right? You enjoy the music, so why not create an experience with the artist directly?
Yes, that's right. And also, another key thing I wanted to do was bring the value back to music. Speaking of, like, when you see how musicians are trying to get like, 1 million streams and it pays like, I don't know, a few dollars. It's crazy. And then Spotify just takes all the credit. Still important to be out there, to be involved. But yeah, with this,
even in a macro level, like I have friends in England, which I'm happy to share this information with as well. By the way, is Musician Buddy just New Zealand, or is it? Are you taking other territories? What's the deal?
It's global.
Global, nice.
Yeah.
So what? You just select your city and all that. Maybe explain that.
Yeah. So basically, as a musician, you download the app and build a profile of yourself, like you probably have done a few times in other areas on social media. And the key difference is you are selecting what kinds of occasions that you could play for and what kind of genres that you play for. But you have your bio explaining everything. You can add a little video if you want of yourself, and a schedule for people to check out when you're available. But also you're allowed to take that profile and share it everywhere on your social media. So like if you have your Instagram with however many thousands of followers, you can say, hey guys, come and book me here directly, and I can play for you for whatever occasion. Like you might need to get something for somebody's birthday, like, oh, you could book a musician for like a 3-song set.
Yeah.
And the money that the person or the fan or the customer pays goes directly to the musician. So that is helping the musician, and it's helping the fan and the follower.
And I guess it helps them plan an itinerary almost, right? If the demand is there, they can actually hit the areas that they resonate with, right? And they can actually make a plan rather than going to, I was just talking to Ash Sales, who's a fantastic looping artist, by the way. Oh my goodness. He's playing at Dimensions.nz, Dimensions Festival. And he just creates a soundscape with his looping pedal. And he was just saying he just started his Auckland tour, and the first leg of the tour he was playing to maybe 10 people, right? Imagine him amplifying that now, or even adding value to that gig where you've got this app and you go, right, this is where I'm planning to hit. Like, where do you want me to, make the itinerary? It excites me because it's an added value thing that you've done. Musicians can really plan out their itinerary, which is fantastic. I remember my little 3-year-old is a huge fan of Danny Go. You know Danny Go, the music singer that creates pop tunes for little kids.
Yes.
He uses some other app as well, which I'd never heard of. And but anyways, I won't say who they are because they're not a sponsor. But but they weren't, because he doesn't do the gig thing. And the app was slightly different in a way that you can get celebrities, or Danny Go in this instance, to send a happy birthday message, right? So it's a cool idea, but what's even cooler with Musician Buddy is you're taking that and creating experiences for people, right? So very cool.
Exactly.
Other than what other plans do you have, whether it's coding back stuff or whatever, for 2025? Give us sort of an outline of where you want to see Musician Buddy.
I'd love to get at least 1,000 musicians on there.
All right.
That would be great.
That's really good.
Really take it to the world. Yeah. Because it's all about expansion and getting people out there and yeah, like you say, creating that intimate space between the listener and the musician live, and
Yeah.
being able to do it from anywhere. So like you could be, I don't know, you have a party in Auckland, but you've got a DJ that's playing live from Berlin, like just
Wow.
straight through the app. The options are endless, and just go for it,
Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Well, thank you for connecting with me. How did you find out about Kiwi Radio, by the way?
It was on Instagram, yeah. Funnily
awesome.
enough, looking through things, and I saw the ad, and yeah, it's great. I'm really stoked to be here, and it was just like so last minute, and thank you so much, and cheers to all the listeners.
Well, this is just the start of the journey, and it's all about building relationships here at Kiwi Radio. So we want to champion your amazing idea there, Grenville. So where can people find or download Musician Buddy?
It's on the Apple Store at the moment. It's not available on Android. Sorry, guys, at the moment, but in the near future, I hope it will be. So, yeah,
so if
go
we
and
get
download.
1,000 Apple users to create that. I don't know if you want to make a promo code for Kiwi Radio or something like that, but that might be a good incentive. And that way, too, you get to see and track the referrals, right? Because, you'll find other influencers too, but we were the first one, right? Woo!
Yeah.
We're the first one, baby.
Amazing.
It's such a great fit, though. It's such a great fit because our audience are musicians. So it's a fantastic fit.
And you musicians out there, you guys are so important. You're there when we're going through tough times and going through good times. Music is there. So
wow,
really appreciate it.
What a good why. What a good why. Are you creative, musical, or in any way there, Grenville, yourself?
Yeah. I'm
Nice.
also a musician, but I just haven't been involved in it much lately. Too busy. But yeah,
the heart's there. The heart's there.
Exactly.
The heart's there, and there's been some other sort of global entities that have reached the global capacity. Serato is a New Zealand company, and look at them now, right? So it all starts with an idea, and the idea may pivot and turn and stuff like that. But I find that with any entrepreneur, if the heart is right, and the mindsets and the drive is there, man, you'll be going places. So we're very lucky to be partnering with you. Very, very lucky.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you so much. It's really great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll chat in the background, and we'll leave it at that for now. We'll keep the communications up and running. We'll start the campaign for you, and I'll do a proof of work at the end of the month. You'll see what that looks like and stuff, and that just shows you what we've been up to. And but yeah, thank you again, Musician Buddy. It is Musician Buddy. Go check it out in the Apple Store. And Grenville, thank you for giving us a wee plug.
Yeah, great, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Take care.
Very good. And that is pretty much the show, everyone. We want to thank all the wonderful people tuned in. We'll be back next Tuesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. New Zealand time. Up next on the show, we have Lavender Music. We have Alex de Vries. We have L.A. Mitchell. I'm excited about that one. L.A. Mitchell. We have Chris Young from Tadpole. Do you guys remember Tadpole? Amelia Power. And that's just the surface of it. We've got a mixture of phone interviews, in-studio performances, all that fun stuff. And yeah, we want to thank you, the listeners, for spreading the love, spreading the word about Kiwiradio.nz. We are now the #1 place to find the latest Kiwi tunes, exclusive remixes, interviews, and all that fun stuff. Right, take care, everyone. Signing off. Stay cool, stay creative. And again, thank you to our sponsor, Musician Buddy. Check him out on the Apple Store.